Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Vulture from the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure wave. Here we have Vulture displayed in the front window with his Build-A-Figure piece and alternate head, and then down at the bottom we see the Spider-Man logo and his name across that red band. On the side we do get some artwork of Vulture flying towards us, and that is going to be the same artwork on both sides. On the back, instead of the artwork, we do get a product shot of Vulture with just his arms extended towards us. Then we do have a quick read-up. Adrian Toombs uses a specialized flying suit to soar through the skies as the Vulture. And then we do have all the other figures needed in this wave to complete the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure. At the very bottom we have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that, let's get this open and take a look at the Vulture. And here is Vulture outside of his packaging, and I am very excited to finally get this classic look for this character. The Ultimate Spider-Man 2-pack that we had with Ultimate Spidey and Ultimate Vulture, it was a Walmart exclusive some time ago. I want to say like maybe a year or two ago even. It was a decent set, but of course that was a different look for Vulture. Having the classic one now means that I can finally get a classic-looking Sinister Six going, and that is something that'll be really cool. It'll even look better once I get the retro Electro. But anyway, very happy to get this guy. He is based on the Pizza Spidey mold, which certainly for this character is quite fitting, just being, a skinny old man, so that works. There are some very unique things about this figure, though, that we're going to go into. We're going to talk about the alternate head sculpt here in a moment, but I really want to jump in here with his accessories, which really are just the wings. And looking at those wings, we can see probably the most unique thing that we've seen in a Marvel Legends figure in terms of, I guess, controversy, if you will, is the fact that we had a running change. So I actually have both versions of the Vulture that were released, and you might already be noticing the difference. So this one here was apparently an original run of the figure, which had the port for the little wings in the back of the shoulder, versus the later release, or the running change, which put the port on the back of the arm. And the reason that is a big deal is because you would have the ability to pose better with the one with the wings in the back of the arm. Take a look at these pictures here that I took, where it's essentially the same pose, and you can see how goofy the one with the wings that port into the shoulder look. Now, from what I can tell, the easiest way to tell the difference inside the packaging is going to be to look for behind the figure. You'll see the small wings. If the peg is at the end of the wing, then that means that's the one that goes into the shoulder. If it is in more towards the middle or just inside at all, that is going to be the one that is going to port into the back of the arm. And you can certainly see why that is a big deal, though. So let me go ahead and grab a wing. No, let's just do this here. There we go. Good enough. And the moment you turn the arm for any kind of pose, you can see now that that is just going to look ridiculous depending on how you want to pose them, versus this guy. I can move the arm in whatever position I want to, and I don't have to worry about trying to align the shoulder. So you can still work with this one, it's just going to be rougher. One other thing that I will show here is going to be the lot numbers of the two figures. So you can see the higher lot number there was the one that had the wings that ported into the shoulder. And I assume that it was a new lot because you can see what a low number it has now. And that one is the one that ported into the arms. So that certainly makes a lot more sense when looking at the lot numbers and seeing what that running change looked like. Now, going back to the wings for a second, one thing I do want to look at is just how they're painted and how they look. So we can see we get a decent amount of shading here on one side, and then on the other side it's very flat. You can see the injection molding spots here if the light catches it. There you go, you can see one there and one there. So that is a little bit unfortunate that only one side seemed to get some love. Now, what I can say is there is a slight curvature to the wing that you can see, but it doesn't really look bad either way you put it. So if you're going to pose it where the inside of the wings are going to be more exposed, then having it displayed with the better shaded piece doesn't necessarily look bad. But if I wanted to switch it around, and maybe he's doing a dive bombing pose or something like that, I can have the underside be a worse looking pieces. Let me go ahead and put it on the other way. And then, like I said, maybe it's a dive bombing pose or something like that. And now you can see that it still looks just fine. And the wings, again, that curvature is there. And in fact, for this kind of pose, I would almost say it looks like he's sort of aiming the wings if he was aiming them at Spider-Man or something. But it doesn't look weird or anything like that. So I would say basically just put the nice side facing whatever direction you're going to see the most of. So, a pose where he's going like this, maybe, that's how I would put him. Now, when standing straight up, a Vulture is coming in at 6 1/4 inches tall, which makes him 15.9 centimeters, which is standard expectation for the Pizza Spidey body mold. I mean, he doesn't have any extra height added to him. But since he only comes with the alternate head, and we already looked at the wings, and we'll look at the Build-A-Figure piece later, let's go ahead and just jump in here and get a look at the paint and sculpt on Vulture. And getting up close here, we can see a very well done head sculpt for an old man. I mean, the skin looks great, looks very aged, very rough looking, and I really like the overall design here in the sculpt. The paint came out looking good. We get the pink around the eyes, we get the gray there for the eyebrows with the high arch in them, and the eyes look like they came out actually pretty decent. The mouth paint there, not bad. Yeah, I like it. Looks good. And then we even get the liver spots there at the top of the head. So very well done, actually. I like it quite a bit. Now that does take us to the other head sculpt here, which looks like Adrian Toomes a little bit more calm wearing the helmet. And that's kind of the odd thing, is this helmet was primarily worn by Blackie Drago, which was the second Vulture, and not Adrian Toomes. So we get the wrong person wearing the helmet. And I thought maybe this was Hasbro sneaking an Easter egg on us, so I did a little research for the 1967 Spider-Man cartoon, which I knew the Vulture wore the helmet in that, and I thought, man, when did Blackie Drago take over, and when did the cartoon come out? Because maybe that's a callback to that. But apparently, the Blackie Drago character came out in May of 1967, and the first Spider-Man cartoon aired sometime around September of 1967. So it's very likely that that was Blackie Drago in the Spider-Man cartoon, and not Adrian Toomes, and Hasbro just, I don't know, they just did the wrong head sculpt, I guess. I couldn't find any evidence of Toomes wearing this. But the coolest thing about the helmet is we do get the sculpted texture in there, which that's the downside. Looking at the rest of the body, we don't get that sculpted detail. I mean, we get the neck piece, which is cool. I mean, he does have those feathers that go around his neck, but we don't get any sculpted lines here. We just get some light shaded green paint that has lines in it, and that's going to just be on the torso and the upper arms, and then that's it. No more paint on this figure. I understand why Hasbro did it, because you'd have to completely recast a different modified Pizza Spidey mold with that sculpted detail, and I mean, to try to keep the figure down, that's probably, this was the trade-off, is we get it painted on. So that is unfortunate. Looking at the rest of the figure, it's just the Pizza Spidey mold, so there's nothing surprising to it. I will say these hands look pretty big for this character. They look quite oversized, but I don't think it'll matter too much once you get the wings back on them. Now, looking at the articulation, so you have a head that can go all the way around, look down quite a ways, look up, not bad. You do have arms that can come up pretty decently. You do have a butterfly joint that gets you some good forward, and, well, there we go. It was a little rough. I don't know why that doesn't want to go back very far. Well, there, that one went back further, it looks like. But you do have the butterfly joints. You might just have to work on them. You do have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Man, this one's really stiff. I'm going to have to compare these two and see. Well, I guess I can't switch them now that I think about it. But anyway, you do have rotation and a hinge at the wrist. And then, surprisingly, with the Pizza Spidey mold, you get a very terrible ab crunch, almost nothing backwards, and that was actually the case for either of them. It doesn't want to go backwards. I feel like I'm gonna scratch or chip something. So really bad in that ab crunch department. I'm not sure what's up with that. You get waist articulation, legs that can come apart, meh. Kick forward, yeah, pretty much 90 degrees there. Backwards, not much at all. Upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and then you do have a hinge and ankle pivot. And that is going to do it for this review, everyone. So overall, I mean, it's a very cool figure considering some of the things that, it could have been better. Obviously the sculpted lines on the suit would have made it better. But again, I also understand why Hasbro didn't do it. So, I mean, it is what it is. For a $20 figure, you kind of have to expect some of the good with the bad. The bad, though, on this one, just so many things that could have gone better beyond just the sculpt. I mean, we have the mismatched head there with the Blackie helmet on the Adrian Toombs head, and then you have the running change with those ports in the shoulder, which those were terrible. I mean, I started doing some more poses with this one, and I am very glad that I managed to find the running change variant to get a pose like this. I wouldn't be able to do a pose like this. The wing would be up here facing straight back, so that would be very unfortunate. So like I said, just make sure you look for on the package itself, look for the tab in the far corner. That is going to be the one that goes in the shoulder, and if it's more towards the middle, it's going to be the one like this one here. So unfortunately, if you're buying online, it's going to be a luck of the draw kind of thing. But as I said, that is it for this review. I do still think this figure is worth picking up just because it is a classic Vulture, and I doubt we're going to get another one anytime soon. So I think it's worth getting for any Spider-Man fan. But anyway, as I said, that is it for the review. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, thanks for watching my videos, and have a great day.